Mango Math presents Got Room, a third grade game. Got Room is a third grade game that falls under the math strand of measurement, and it's a measurement game that reinforces area and fact families with the inverse relationships between multiplication and division with the creation of arrays. Got Room has some math terms to help with understanding, and those terms are product, the result when two numbers are multiplied; factor, a whole number that divides exactly into another number; and dimensions, the length of the sides of a shape; an array, a set of objects or numbers arranged in order, often in rows or columns. The supplies that are provided in your pouch along with the information sheet and directions will be a dry erase marker and eraser, a 6-sided die, a 10-sided die, and a Got Room game board. To play this game, students will start with their grid on their game board, and they will roll the 2 dice. In this time, they've rolled a 9 and a 6, and they can multiply those 9 numbers together. 9 times 6 is 54, and they are to create an array on the board that has an area of 54. So that can be an array that is 9 times 6 equals 54. So it can be the numbers that are rolled. They can also roll a dice, let's say 2 times 3, and get 2 times 3 and make that, or a 1 times 6 is also 6. So you're looking at what the product is and making an array that equals that product. So in this case, they can make a 2 by 3 equaling 6, or they can make a 1 by 6 equaling 6. In this case, they're going to keep the 1 by 6. The next player rolls. He has a 8 times 3, which equals 24, but also 2 times 12 equals 24, 1 times 24 equals 24, and 4 times 6 equals 24, or the reverse of every one of those. So they can determine what they want to make. In this case, they want to make a 2 by 12. They're going to write that on the board. So eventually they're going to be creating these arrays which are going to fill in their board, and they can continue on. Let's say they have a 6 by 5 and they cover in 30, and a 4 times 3 and they cover in a 12, area of a 12. And so you'll see that pretty soon they're limiting the amount of space that somebody else can make an array in. So the other player needs to look at what space do I need to fill, what numbers do I need to roll in order to fill that shape. So they're thinking of a lot of different things at one time. So the game goes until a player has no place on the board in which they can make an array out of the product that they rolled. So it's a great game. Takes a lot of thought and strategy. Depending on the size of the grid, depends on how long the game will last. A smaller grid won't last as long as a larger grid. And if you want to replace the 6-sided dice with another 10-sided dice, so they're working with all the numbers 0 to 9, that's completely okay as well. Some guided questions to promote critical thinking. Which products were easier to work with when creating an array? Which were more difficult? What type of rectangle did you start with? Was it skinny, long, fat, short, etc.? What type of space were they trying to fill in? What type of area were they trying to fill in? And what type of rectangle did you use when you got close to the end of the game? So have them start thinking about what type of spaces they need to fill up, what kind of numbers do they want to roll to get certain products, and so forth. So it makes them think of a lot of different things. Great game. Enjoy.